So previously, I hunted muleys in Montana.
Muleys is just like big bucks. First buck passed up. Now we just gotta find a big one.
On the first day of season, I pulled a dandy buck off the mountain.
Opening day of season, buck on the ground. How cool is that?
Now, I have one tag left in my pocket, and that is for a mule deer in Idaho. Once again, I set work aside and planned on dedicating the entire season searching for a shooter buck. Enjoy this episode.
Opening day of Idaho Mule and typical stuck in rut episode. Always starting in the dark. And it is downpouring rain and it's going to get worse. Starting from the bottom, hiking to the top. Got my rain gear on. It's going to be a wet day. I've hunted this mountain before, or the mountain range in general before, but I've never actually hunted this area for mule deer. So this is unique. It's just kind of a scouting mission. It's the first day of season. But it's really cool, and I actually think there's a chance I might come back, but also I got to see what this sign is. But then there's some nice cuts in here too, some fresh cuts. But there's this, I'm just following this trail. It kind of goes through these cuts, and I'm just taking this trail up, and hopefully we'll get into deer soon. We're in the muley elevation. I'm on a really nice buck track here, so I was like, well, I felt like I wasn't quite there yet, but I'm like, well, since I'm on that nice muley track going up the trail, I better get the gun out. It was on the back, so I got it off, and I think my plan is, it's kind of foggy as you can tell. I'll get up here, see if I can see anything. It's supposed to be his first day of season, so I'm trying not to go too hard, but I can't help myself. I'm already going too hard. Nice buck track. See the difference between the doe and the buck. It's definitely a lot bigger than a doe. Not a comparison like a doe to buck. That's a big boy. See if we can find him. He's just getting up the trail. I haven't been in deer tracks for a while now. That big buck track only went about another 200 yards and bailed off the hill, and I've gone a mile back more. I've seen a big bull elk track. I've seen a lot of other critters. Well, I'm on a black bear track right now. He's walking up this trail, and so he's not hibernating just yet, but should be soon. Anyways, I'm in the snow. There's some openings up here, and that's about as far as I'm going to go is to these openings. There's a lot of good feed there, and nothing there. I'm going to come back down. The good news is it's all the way, it's all downhill, and it's a nice steady decline. So the hardest part's over, and that's just getting up here. Well, not over yet. I still got a little bit more to go till I get in those openings of glass, which I doubt I'm going to see because look at how foggy it is. Just as I expected, it's foggy, but it's lifting on and off, so I'm just like moving slow through these openings. I'm above tree line, and just looking very closely. This is the time of the year the bucks are roaming. I'm trying to find does in heat, so I'm just trying to catch one of these big guys making a mistake because they're moving a lot of ground right now. So I'm just realistically, you can't kill a deer staying at camp, right? You have to hunt. First day of muley season. I'm on my way back. This is as far as I'm going. So, time to head back and yeah, call this day one, but I can kill a buck on the way back. I'm still hunting on the way back, of course. I'm going to get back to where that big buck track was, and I want to see what he's doing, but he was kind of heading into no man's land. I didn't think it was wise to follow that one. Usually I want to figure out if it's a wise thing to follow a track or not. That situation did not look smart. Alright, so that buck is heading straight down here. And there's these new cuts that don't even show up on Onyx yet, but I saw them coming in the dark, some clear cuts. So I'm going to take this trail out right here, try to get down there and see if maybe there's a group of muley does in those cuts, and that buck's there to check them out. So instead of pounding this nasty brush, that snow brush is actually pretty nasty. It gets worse and worse, and blowdowns like you wouldn't believe. So we're going to play it smart, stay on the trail, get to one of those road systems that's gated, and then just walk into where I think that buck may be heading. It's worth a shot, but it's an educated shot.
So unfortunately, it warmed up in the high 40s and it just continued to rain. This caused a lot of snow to melt off the mountain, but the forecast showed that the temps were going to drop again and the snow was going to return shortly. This is very, very bipolar weather.
I wanted to get here extra early. There's going to be a nasty storm in a couple hours, so I wanted to get in here, do some glassing before the storm rolled in.
So before the storm got really bad, I ended up finding this nice little glassing spot. I sat down and spent a little time there, and lo and behold, I've spotted my first deer of the season. As I was staring at this buck with does, another buck appeared higher on the ridge. Both these bucks are young and need a couple more years to grow, but I'm just grateful to get into action. From what I predicted earlier, the storm did roll in, taking my visibility away from glassing, so I continued my hike up the ridge. Thankfully, this time it's snow, not rain.
Decided to put the gun away because I'm alder pounding right now till I get to a better elevation to side hill. But it's kind of risky. I was like looking at these alders and like, I don't know, should I cut up through this stuff? But it looks fairly open, so I'm like, well, I might be able to weave through it, navigate through these alders. So let's see. I mean, see if this is a good idea or not. I've just been going, and no rest. Today I decided to try some openings. You know, I kind of bounce back and forth between timber pounding and hunting open country, and there's some cuts up here I wanted to investigate. So I figured I'd come up here, see if the muleys are using them as much. There's a lion track. Tell you what, if I see that lion, it's getting a bullet. It's always a predator hunt. That's a pretty nice buck track going the opposite way. But I'll come back. I want to explore these other openings. I always just wonder, how many deer do I walk past? I'm sure a lot more when there's not a snow background. Now I got a snow background, thank goodness, so it's a lot nicer to glass.
I hate rain, but I love snow.
So from where I saw those tracks earlier in the day, I decided to hike back to that spot and hike down a little bit farther down the clear cut where I can gain a little bit more visibility. That's when I spotted a really nice buck staring right at me. But from where I was standing, I did not have a clear shot. I could only see his face and rack. I decided to move in a little closer while I was purposely keeping a tree between us, looking my direction the whole time. It was not an ideal setup, but I had to make do with what I had.
I got it. Ouch. I got it. Not wrong with that deer at all. That's a good buck, I think. I got it. heavy, typical Idaho Mule. Oh yeah, he's a great buck. Still breathing. Oh, that's a really good buck. Oh yeah. We are tagged out, boys and girls. Woohoo.
Well, you guys, my big mountain muley is on the ground. Look at this stud. He is a big, big deer. I am so excited. And once again, I am lost for words. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened. I wasn't even going to walk over here. I literally just walked over this lip, and there he was standing there staring at me. And so I had to shoot quick before he got away. He was staring me down, but he's heavy mass. It looked like he broke that point. Otherwise, he would have scored really well, but I don't know. We'll see. But he's an old deer, really mature. So this is day 4 of the hunt. I was hunting in a lot of, the conditions were not great. We've been getting a lot of rain lately, a lot of, so it snow, rain, melt, snow, rain, melt, and we were having a lot of that. I killed my mule deer already in Montana, so now I was like, okay, now I can just solely focus on hunting muleys in Idaho. And you know, first day of season, of course, was just a madhouse. There were just people all over the mountains. And so I just decided to hunt. My first day, I picked a spot where you'd have to be a fool to hunt. So because I just wanted to avoid people completely. And so I had an area like that. And then I was bouncing around, combination between hunting these openings like this, hunting timber. And I like to spice it up a little bit. And I just have my particular areas that I had marked on Onyx and where I wanted to hunt. This one was on my mind. I've been thinking about this spot most of the summer, but I just didn't want to hit it the first day. So this is day 4, and this is my first day being in here this year. I've hunted it before, but this year, this is my first year in here. But I wanted to hit some other spots first. And then, yeah, so on day 4, which is today, I came up here. And it was a long trek in, but it was just, snow conditions were perfect. I'm like, this is what I've been waiting for to hunt this area, was the snow conditions like this. I didn't really want to hit it quite yet early on. But the snow up higher, it crusted over and it pulled some of these muleys down. So I decided this was a good opportunity to hunt this area. I hit it hard this morning, got up right at mule deer elevation at first light and just started side hilling. As you can tell, it's kind of an old logging cut, and so there is some roads, but you can't drive in here. You're required to hike, so I hiked in here. There was a pocket of does just right above me. You could see the tracks in the snow, although I didn't see them personally. And then I saw a big buck track wrap around the ridge this way, so I followed it for a while. And then he kind of dived off in a heavy timber spot and a bunch of blowdown. I'm like, let's not follow that track. Like, let's come back this way. So I came back this way, and there's kind of a little bump here. I can't really see from here, so I had to drop down through this. For a second, I didn't want to drop down in this opening. I'm like, I feel like I could see everything from where I'm at, and I'm like, no. I'm the type of person that's like, if you can't see everything, like, what's around that next bend? In my head, it's like, what's around that next corner? That's what's always in my head. So I decided to peek over here. I started walking down this hill, and I saw this. I saw this staring at me just like this, and I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, I better shoot that buck. That's a shooter for sure. And so I try to get a rest on my knee, and when I got a rest on my knee, all I see is his face. I'm like, crap, like it's kind of this hill kind of rolls, and so I had to like move down a little bit farther. I kept the tree between me and him, and he's staring me down. He knows something's up, so I got between a tree and I moved a little bit closer, for I felt like, okay, pop out and get on your knee. So I turned on the video camera, I popped out on my knee. It was a frontal shot, and I shot, and I see him just immediately disappear, but I don't see anything running off, and so I ran over here really fast and I see him dead. So it's like, oh my goodness. Yes, usually I hunt the entire hunting season to find a big buck. This time, day 4. It's only day 4 of the hunt. I've killed bull elk in September during archery season in Idaho, and I killed a muley in Montana and a muley in Idaho, and that's really what I wanted. I feel satisfied. So I think this is good. I think I'm good. I think I'm good with what I have here. This is what I like to do with our muleys. So usually what I like to do is get as many steaks off a mule deer as I can, and then make the rest in the smokies. Our family goes through so many smokies every single year. So 2 mule deer made out of smokies. We got a lot of smokies. This is a really deep freezer. Have a lot of meat in there, a full elk underneath, mule deer here, and then I can put the moose meat on top because that's the oldest meat. I like to get rid of the oldest meat first, and that moose was from 2024, so I'm currently working on that, those moose steaks. But that's the freezer, nice and full this year. Super grateful. Mule deer hunts in the snow like this spark some old memories, like this buck I shot in the heavy timber back in 2020.
Oh crap. Wow, that's a big buck. This buck was right on my tail, following me, and I shoot, and he runs right past me. Incredible.
It's moments like this is what brings me back every single year.
What an awesome day it's been. And so this is 5 days of me hunting muleys this fall, and I got 2 bucks in the 5 days. One really nice one in Montana, and now this one in Idaho. If any of you guys are interested in learning how to pursue and successfully harvest these big mature muleys, I highly recommend checking out the Stuck and Rut Mule Deer Masterclass. It's on the 360 Sportsman website, so highly recommend checking that out. And as always, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay updated on our newest hunting episodes. Thank you for watching.